On today's shows, we have magical kittens, we have pirate detectives, we have snowy mysteries, and even a super mega tortoise. Welcome to Mr Dilly Meets Mysteries, Mischief, and Magical Adventures. Now, we have got lots to get through today, including not just one, not just two, but three. I know, three draw-alongs. So make sure you have 3 bits of paper, and you'll just need a pen or a pencil to draw with. First up today, we have the author of The Uncommoners, Agents of the Wild, Wonderscape, Legendarium, Magicalia series, and today she's here with a brand new pirate mystery, Buccaneers. It's over here. Here we go. Buccaneers, cool name. Pirate detectives, please welcome to Mr. Dilly Meets Jennifer Bell. Hello, Jennifer. Round of applause for Jennifer.
Hello.
Fantastic. Now, we are now going to meet the fabulous illustrator of Buccaneers and many other books as well, including Betty Steady and the Toe Witch, you might have seen, Paws, Claws, and Frilly Draws. Let's welcome illustrator of Buccaneers, Sarah Horn. Hello, Sarah. Round of applause for Sarah Horn. Nice to see you. Okay, next up. This is great. I hope you like these introductions. They're big introductions. I know. But I should have a trumpet or something. It's really, really good. Also, we have the author, illustrator of the Watson Whiskerton series. And today she's here to talk about our latest, the Great Glacier Hotel Heist. It's welcome to Meg McLaren. Hello, Meg. Good to have Meg on. And finally, we have the man who has got a super mega tortoise with him somewhere. Welcome, Gareth Hopkins. Hello, Gareth. Nice to see you, Gareth. Okay, it's hiding out in the garden, hopefully. Now, Laura Ella Anderson would also be on the show, but she is pre-recorded at the end of the show. Okay, now, everybody, welcome to the show, first of all. We're going to go into Book in a Blink. I'm going to play these titles, and then we're going to have a chat about your books. Here we go. How you like the titles there? Pretty good. Okay, now, what we're going to do is we have 15 seconds each to talk about a book. So Jennifer has elected out of Jennifer and Sarah, as they both work together on Buccaneers, to not to go first. Actually, she didn't elect to go first, but she's going to go first. Now, the thing is, it's never good whether you go first is worse or going last is worse. I'm not really sure, Jennifer. But what we're going to do is here, we have got a timer, and also I have this very important kazoo here for Jennifer. And when 15 seconds are up, I will blow the kazoo in some tune or another, and then it's time to move on. Okay, so Jennifer, we're going to go first. So everybody else, can we give a nice round of applause for Jennifer? So give her a bit of a come on, Jennifer, you think
confidence boosted.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly just say goodbye to Gareth, Sarah, and Meg as we put the 15 seconds on for Jennifer. So no pressure, Jennifer. Okay, so let's just say goodbye for a minute. Okay, and Meg as well. Okay, Jennifer, are we ready? Yeah. 15 seconds is on the clock to talk about Buccaneers. Ready? 1, 2, 3, off you go.
It's a very funny mystery story about Buck and his loyal rabbit Ears, who are raised to be fearsome pirates, but decide instead to become detectives and must follow a series of clues across the 70 seas to find a missing mermaid. And illustrations by Sarah.
That was pretty good going there. Round of applause, Jennifer there. That was a great start, Jennifer. Very, very good indeed. Okay, big up Team Jen. There we go. Fantastic. Okay, next up, shall we have? Let's go to Gareth. So Jennifer, we'll be back with you in just a moment. Okay, so Gareth. Okay, Gareth, are we ready? With we've got Gareth's book here as well, so we're going to hold a bit of Gareth. But, can't we see it on mine? It goes all weird because of the green. But Gareth, okay, 15 seconds on the clock. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Off.
This is Super Mega Tortoise. He is a giant tortoise, and he loves nothing more than to crush cities and eat school teachers. Yes, school teachers. This is Sakura. She stands up to Super Mega Tortoise and tries to teach him there's a kinder way to have fun.
Look at that. That's almost like you practiced it, Gareth. That was very, very good. Round of applause. Gareth Hopkins. Okay, now we have Meg McLaren up. Okay, Meg. Right. So Meg's finishing this up. So Watson Whiskerton. Over here, Watson Whiskerton. Okay, Meg, are we ready for this? So come on, Meg, you can do this. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Okay, Watts and Pearl are on holiday in a snowy ski resort when a Joe thief strikes and steals a priceless necklace. Then a snowstorm hits and traps everyone in the hotel, and Watts and Pearl must find the culprit before the snow melts and the Joe thief escapes.
That was very, very good, Meg. Let's bring anyone back on. To Jennifer back, Sarah back, and Gareth back. Give each other a round of applause. That was a beautiful thing. So Book in a Blink. So you got a kind of a little taste there, really watching of what the books are about. We're going to jump into more about their books, obviously, a little bit later on. Just before we go, we've got a quick question for you all. This is kind of a general question that was sent in from various schools. So I'll ask you all. We start with you, Meg, if that's okay. Did you have a favourite book when you were kind of maybe between sort of 6 and 9 or around about that age? Or was there a particular book that you really liked?
I had a favourite series, which was The Famous Five by Enid Blyton. And what I liked is that they were 2 brothers and a sister and a cousin and a dog. That's the 5. And every time they had a school holiday, they would find a mystery to solve. And I really liked that they were my age and that they were solving mysteries with their family. That's brilliant.
Did you ever get to do it yourself, solve a mystery with anyone?
No, I never really found a good mystery.
So just wrote about them instead, which is why you got the book. So it's all good. Jennifer, what about yourself?
When I was that age, I really loved Peter Pan. It has my favourite pirate of all time, Captain Hook, obviously. Classic, legendary pirate. And also a brilliant crew. Like, he has amazing pirate crew, and his ship, the Jolly Roger, is fantastic. So, and I think I loved that it had pirates and mermaids and fairies and just everything. Just, it's got a bit of everything in it. So that's why I loved it.
It's all in. Have you read it since? Have you read these?
I have. I collect. I think I have over 60 editions of Peter Pan, so I'm a huge fan. Yeah, and loads of little sort of Peter Pan memorabilia.
Okay, well, Meg, have you revisited any of the Enid Blyton books and any of the Famous Five ones when you've older?
I looked. They've started reissuing them with illustrations by new illustrators, so I've had a look at one of those recently, and I really like that the original books had like black and white illustrations, and now you can get full color ones. So I like that lots of different illustrators are taking it on.
Yeah, brilliant. Gareth, what about you? Was there a particular favourite or a series or?
I've got it. I got this for my 8th birthday, so it's
wow,
like a relic now. But I used to love Asterix.
So
every book was like a different adventure. There was loads of chaos. It was really silly, and I used to get one every single year. I think there must be like, I don't know actually how many there were in the end. I loved it. Really funny, even though quite a few of the jokes went over my head. There was plenty of like adventure.
Yeah.
And lots of fights with Romans, I remember. I don't know
lots of Roman fights
it was, but I used to love these.
Do they still publish those? They still make those or not? Are they?
Yeah, I think they have done. Yeah, there's been a few films made, and so yeah, they're still around.
So Asterix and Asterix the Gaul, wasn't it? Asterix the Gaul. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Sarah, was there a particular book or series that you liked?
It's really hard to say which one, because I was such a book. I still am such a book person, and just loved. One of the ones that came to my mind as like an absolute favourite was Rich Scarry's "What Do People Do All Day?" Do you know that one?
Yeah.
And it was sort of picture book size, and you open it up and it's lots of. I just loved it because I love animals, and I just loved all the detail, and hilarious that those pigs in the dentist chair and dogs doing the dentistry work.
There aren't pigs in dentist chairs.
I just loved all the detail in it. So such a one for detail. And
but all those sort of books when you sort of jump in and all those little different characters. I like not they are dissimilar, but you know, like the is it called You Imagine? Books, I think they're by Nick Sharratt, is that right? You know, when you've got all the different things and you can choose your own world, and I love all that. They're great ways into stories as well. But listen, thank you very much for your question. Jennifer and Sarah are going to stay with us to teach more about Buccaneers. Meg and Gareth, we're going to say goodbye to now. So goodbye now for Gareth, please, and goodbye just for now to Meg. That's the end of Book in a Blink, and then we're back in a minute with more from Jennifer and Sarah. Okay, so Jennifer, Sarah, so we're going to have a draw along very shortly. From Sarah, which is the first of our draw along, and have a little reading as well, Buccaneers. But before we do that, Jennifer, let's start with you. Let's start with the you gave us a little taster there in the 15 seconds. Let's start with the story of Buccaneers. Who are they, and why are they the worst pirates of the 70 seas? So tell us a bit more about Buccaneers.
Well, if you know anything about pirates, you know that they're fierce and stinky and ruthless, and they go around stealing treasure, and they're not the sort of people that you want to be friends with. But buccaneers aren't like that at all. They're really friendly. They have excellent personal hygiene. You know, a regular pirate only changes his underpants once a year, but buccaneers, they change their underpants every day, and they use soap to wash, and they don't like stealing at all. So when you meet them at the beginning of the book, their crew has mutinied against them and tied them to a barrel of stinking sardines with the words "shark bait" in big white letters, and they find themselves washed up on the shores of a pirate town, and sort of they have to set out to change their fortunes around, because they've realized they can't be pirates because no one will work for them at all. So that's sort of like how the story begins.
I must say, it's a brilliant. I mean, when you think about it, it's an obvious name, but it's not. And then you look at it and go, Buccaneers. That's like really, really good. What a great name for a couple of pirates. It's really, really good. Sarah, so you're working together on this. Obviously, Sarah's done the illustrations for the book. So Sarah, so what's it kind of? How does it work between an illustrator and an author? Because a lot of children always ask that. Like, do you just get given Jennifer's book and you just kind of decide on the illustrations for yourself, or is there a lot of conversations you have with Jennifer, or how does it kind of work when you're illustrating a book like that?
Well, it sort of varies between different books, different publishers, and the normal thing that we do is that I would have a big document that's sent to me with all the text kind of laid out, and there would be little pockets of what we want where, and in terms of what should go here, and kind of sort of they're not like you must have a pirate here. You know, it's not that prescriptive. It's kind of, what about this here, what about this around the edges, and that kind of thing. So a lot of it's kind of suggestion, and then I get quite a lot of I can have quite a lot of freedom in putting things in as well. So
and what's that like, Jennifer, then? So when you, because obviously it's in your head, you've got an image of what Buccaneers and the other characters and places in your book can look like, and then suddenly you've got someone else's minds jumped in after reading your words, because obviously that's what we do when we read, don't we? Like children do. You're painting pictures in your own head. So someone else, after reading your words, and they've suddenly come up with the characters. How does that feel to see that? And is that sometimes very different from what you imagined?
It's absolutely amazing. It's my favorite part of the whole job, because I can just give words to someone, and then their amazing talent, like Sarah, just brings it to life. And I might say something like, oh, it's a pirate town, and it's got some pigs on roller skates who are pirates, and it's got Long Jill Silver, who is a jewelry pirate, and she's a flamingo. And that's all I've written. And then Sarah will go and draw this amazing flamingo with this like flamboyant pirate outfit who's got loads of amazing jewelry. And I see it because I get sent it from the publishers, and it's so exciting and thrilling and such an honor to have someone draw something that you've just created sort of with words. It's just so much fun.
It is amazing. What do you think, for the children who like these sort of books? Obviously, you know, they're full of adventure, but also full of comedy as well. Animals, obviously, good characters. What do you think they'll enjoy most about Buccaneers? Because I'm presuming this is an ongoing adventures.
It
series.
is,
What do you think they'll enjoy most about it by reading it?
I think, well, if you like detective duos that are really funny, like Scooby-Doo and Shaggy and Wallace and Gromit, those were the sort of things that inspired me to write this. So you've got like two best friends who are really fun to go on an adventure with. And Ears is the one who's often getting Buck out of trouble, a bit like Wallace and Gromit. And I think you'll like it because they have to solve a mystery. And the whole way through, Sarah and I have planted clues in the illustrations and in the text, so that you, the reader, can read it and see if you can work out the answers and sort of unpuzzle what's going on at the same time as Buccaneers. So Ears, his favorite writer, is a writer called Agatha Fishty, who writes detective stories, and she appears at the front of the book and she writes a letter to the reader, and she says, I'm going to be here and I'm going to be popping up, and if you see me nearby, there will be a clue. So as the reader, you've got to spot to see if you can see Agatha Fishty throughout the book and work out what the clue might be nearby.
I love that, Agatha Fishty. Yeah, that's good.
William Shakespeare was in the second one.
That's really good. Was it? Do you ever, Sarah? Just quickly, we're going to have a little reading for you, Jennifer, in a minute. If that's okay. But just Sarah, just quickly, those clues. Do you and this kind of links to sorry, Sarah, yeah, and links to your writing and ideas for other books, Jennifer. Is that as you illustrate them and put those clues in, do you sort of add other bits that then spark Jennifer to sort of like think, oh, we could put that in the next one? Is there like a sort of a thing where your illustrations bring not just what Jennifer writes to life, but like bring it to somewhere else that kind of inspires you, Jennifer, in terms of how you may think about how you do them in the future? Does that kind of work for both of you, do you think? So Sarah, is there stuff that you put in yourself that maybe is not what Jennifer's written, but just add something else to it?
There's always little bits, isn't there? Little bits and kind of detail. As I said, I just love detail as well. So I'm not sure. Has there been anything, Jen, that you've seen?
Yeah, there's been loads. I love Sarah drew the pirate hats with the skull and crossbones upside down, and I just thought that was such a fun sort of chaotic detail on all of their hats. And then there's lots of all of the clothing I think is amazing, because I might describe someone as wearing a smart clothes, and then Sarah will go to town and make the outfit look really amazing and sort of bring the character to life. So I think there's lots really of cool. that. Like that really is inspiring. Yeah, and that's brilliant. That's brilliant, and it adds layers to the characters as you go through the series, which is really, really good. Okay, now Sarah, we're going to say goodbye for a minute. Sarah's going to come back and do a draw along in a sec from Buccaneers. We're going to have a short reading from Jennifer, just so you get a taste of the feel of the sort of the story and the fun and the adventure of it. So Sarah, goodbye for now, and Jennifer, I'll hand over to you for a little reading from it. Here we go. So this is right near the beginning of the story, where Buccaneers have washed up on the shores of Scuttleflint Bay, strapped to a barrel of stinking sardines with shark bait on the side. "P.U. What's that stench?" squawked a voice overhead. "It smells like mouldy fish guts." Sand swirled into the air as a pair of beady-eyed seagulls landed on the beach beside Buccaneers. One had speckled brown feathers, the other was snowy white with a sharp yellow beak. Both were wearing sequined capes and glittery party hats that sat at odd angles on their heads. Buck groaned. A pair of nosy seagulls was all they needed. They were the biggest gossips on the 70 seas. The white girl covered his nostrils with his wing and squinted curiously at Buccaneers. "I know you. Aren't you Charlie Blackbuckle and Henrietta Sharp?" "We prefer our nicknames, Buccaneers," Buck replied, frowning warily at Ears. "The last I heard, you'd both set sail to make your fortune at sea," the brown-feathered girl chirped excitedly, pecking seaweed from Buck's sopping hair. "Not going well?" "Aha!" the white girl cried, tapping his beak against the sardine barrel. "This explains why you both smell like rotten fish juice. You've been thrown overboard. Mutiny much?" Heat rose to the surface of Buck's cheeks. Just when he thought things couldn't get any worse, he was about to be teased by a pair of barnacle-brained seagulls. Luckily, Ears came to his rescue. "Will you look at the sun? Is it that time already?" she said, pointing at the sky. "We really must get going. People to rob, places to plunder." She grabbed Buck's sleeve and dragged him briskly up the beach, away from the seagulls. "Come on, let's get out of here," she hissed. "Quick." "Mutiny on their first voyage," the white-feathered girl called as Buccaneers hurried away. "They've got to be the worst pirates ever. The worst. They're going to be the talk of the Glittergullibaloo tonight. Oh, yes, what a party it will be. You look fabulous, Janet." As the birds took to the air with their sequined capes fluttering behind them, Buck's heart sank. In a few hours, every seagull in the 70 seas would know what had happened.
Look at that. That's a great beginning there, Buccaneers. And we're straight into the story. That's brilliant. Okay, Jenna, thank you very much. Now, we've got a school question for you and Sarah, just very, very quickly, but after Sarah's draw along. So say goodbye for Jen for a minute. We're going to bring in Sarah. And here we go, Sarah, for Sarah's draw along. So pens and pencils ready. And we're going to hand over to Sarah now for our first draw along from Buccaneers. Here we go.
Okay. I just love Janet the seagull. It's really funny. So what I'd like you to do, just do what I do. I'm going to, if you draw me, we're going to draw Buck as our main character. We're going to draw him. And if you draw me a little semicircle, or just try and sort of fill part of your page with it, just draw a semicircle. And then can you draw me 2 more semicircles on either side for his ears? And then little semicircles inside the ears like that. It's just like the inside of the ear. And then what I'd like you to do is draw me just the eyes. I'm going to do some circles and try not to be too wobbly. And then eyes in the middle, like that. He looks a bit shocked there. And then he's got this lovely sort of button nose. I quite enjoyed doing little button noses. I think they're quite cute. So do a little kind of button nose, which is basically a little sort of squiggle, really, like that. And then a little mouth, just a little smiley mouth under here. Eyebrows, always the thing that makes a character is an expression, is putting in the eyebrows as well. Now, books got this really cool sort of quiff and a bandana as well. So if you just draw me like a quiff of hair like this, just coming up, and it's sort of, it's like it's sort of out of place, but it sort of makes sense in a minute. And underneath the quiff is a bandana. So if you could just draw me a little sort of rectangle there and one over here. And that sort of goes down like that, something like that. And that's his bandana. And then we could do like the knot on the bandana and just kind of get the rest of it sort of coming out here, something like that. And then the great thing is we've got the pirate hat that comes in under here, which is sort of it's a bit of a weird shape. It's kind of a semicircle, but sort of lumpy. So just kind of doing him like that, really. Hard to explain, really. And then underneath, we've got his neck, which is just kind of 2 lines, and just where the scarf, he's got this little scarf, where the scarf kind of comes in here. And he's just drawing a little sort of triangle where he's got his bandana under the neck. And again, a couple of little knots and like that. And then he's wearing his smart pirate jacket, which is just a line, and then you can do the kind of lapel here as well. So like that, just kind of a jaggedy line like that. And then we can see a bit of his shirt as well, just coming in here. Now the bandana has got lots of polka dots on it, so you could draw some little round circles all around in there. And also on the knot as well, on those bits too. And then we've got the skull and the crossbones, which is, it's kind of a bit obscured by the quiff. I probably should have done the quiff a bit further over, but hey, we'll just draw it in like that. We've got the skull sort of comes in like that, and then his eye. Like that, and see a bit of his eye there. And I quite enjoyed drawing this skull, because he looked permanently bemused and permanently shocked. And then just drawing the bones for the skull and crossbones in here as well, just kind of like a cartoon sort of how you would draw bones in here. And then he needs his shoulders and his arms, doesn't he? So we do his shoulders. So it's kind of, he's got a smart jacket on. I do his shoulders out here, something like that. And then his arms kind of come down here. What I normally do a little bit of where we can see the sewing on the tops of the arms. So just like that, in there, arms. And what I normally do, just shade in a bit of the ears here, shade in a bit of ears. If you want, you can colour all of this this hat in as well, his kind of pirate's hat. And there's also some polka dots on his bandana here as well. And that. So just kind of adding in those extra little bits of detail, really, just to finish it off. Also his hair. He also has these kind of bits of his hair coming down here over his, just down the side of his face. He's got quite long hair, so let's push that in here and there like that. Add a bit more detail to his little quiff up there, and a bit more hair here. And then normally I add in like some kind of rosy cheeks as well. So with black and white things, I just do a little kind of cross hatch here like that, just to kind of add in his rosy cheeks. I usually put a little bit of a shading under his chin as well, just to kind of add a bit more 3 dimensions, and then just kind of add in little bits of shadow where they come in here like that, maybe a button on his jacket, and I think that's him done.
That's awesome. I did it. I had to go. I ran out of space at the top stupidly. There we go. You see it? There you go. There
Cool. Yeah.
Cool. It's such an amazing illustration. I love that. It's absolutely brilliant. I'm going to keep that. That's really good. Thank you very much. Let's get Jennifer. We've got a quick question, then we're going to have to jump through. So I have to answer this one really, really quickly. Welcome back, Jennifer. Did you have a go at the drawing or not?
I didn't. I was just mesmerised watching Sarah do it. It was so much fun to see how she puts together.
Brilliant.
It's so great.
We've got a quick school question for you. So there's Watsy of Primary School, Rotherham. Thank you for your question. They're always a great school at sending in questions. So thanks again for sending it in. Quite a long question, but a quick answer would be great. Where do you get your inspiration for your stories from? Do you draw on your own experiences? I don't know if you've ever been a pirate, or do your stories come from your imagination completely? I guess what part of yourself, Jennifer, and also in the writing, and yourself, Sarah, in the drawing is in there, if you see what I mean. Anything, Jennifer?
Well, I take inspiration from everything around me, and it is mostly from my imagination, because all of my stories are sort of set in imaginary worlds or in the future or in different sorts of places. But I do take inspiration from my friends' sort of characters. So when I'm writing characters, you know, I've got friends who are particularly sort of feisty people, and they might be like a feisty character, or friends that are sort of quite quiet and sweet, and I'll put them in.
Rabbits.
So I take little bits, yeah, little bits here and there, and I use them.
That's brilliant. And Sarah, what about yourself? When you're doing it, do you?
Well, when I started this project a couple of years ago, I decided that I really needed some reference. So I took myself off to the coast, and I went to Cornwall on the way to see family. So I kind of tied it in. But looking at the sea, looking at cliffs, looking at kind of lobster pots, I really sort of tried to immerse myself in the first bit of it, and then the rest is all my chaotic imagination as well.
That's brilliant. Well, listen, Buccaneers, the first one, Pirate Detectives, is out now for your pirating pleasure. So thank you very much, Jennifer. Thank you very much to Sarah. Let's give him a big round of applause. Nice to have you on again, and good luck with the book, both of you. Thank you very much. Goodbye,
Thanks
Jennifer.
so much.
Goodbye, Sarah. Thank you very much. Brilliant. Fantastic. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. Now we're going to jump straight in. We're going to go to something completely different, from pirates to giant mega tortoises. Let's welcome back Gareth Hopkins. Hello, Gareth. How are you doing?
And
it's brilliant. That's so good. That's brilliant. It's a really great draw along that, isn't it? It's a
really awesome draw along, yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of like simple, and then it just suddenly just appears on the page. It's kind of really beautiful. So good for that. So Gareth, right, super mega tortoise. First of all, where did the idea for a giant city crushing tortoise come from? Where did it come from? It's always been lurking there in your brain?
Do you know what? I watched a lot of films when I was younger, a lot of films. And the films that I really loved, that I used to watch with my dad, were kind of Godzilla, where they featured giant monsters. And they all had their special powers, like they could shoot lasers, but they all were really destructive. So they'd knock buildings over, they'd throw cars around. And as a kid, I just thought these films were awesome. I have a tortoise called Alice. And I can't remember at which point I thought, imagine if she was like a giant marauding beast. But it was one day when I was out in the garden. And then once I had the idea, I just played around with it. Essentially tried to write the movie version of Alice as a giant mega tortoise.
Well, two things there, Gareth. I think anyone listening who picked up on a tortoise called Alice. That's fine. And second, that you imagined what it'd be like as a giant marauding beast. I think that there are two things that we've got to applaud you on straight away there, which is pretty amazing. Super Mega Tortoise, it causes chaos, and obviously you said about how those sort of films of Godzilla and all that kind of. If anyone's seen them or seen the posters of them, you'll know that's exactly what they do. He's not really a villain, though, is he? Well, he sort of starts off with but what's he like underneath all that sort of stomping and smashing in that sense?
Do you know what? I think he's very energetic. I think he generally wants to do the right thing. He just doesn't realize what that is, you know. So I think you're exactly right. He's not a villain. This is just how him and his family have always expressed themselves. It's how they've always had fun, and no one's ever questioned that or pointed that out, that might not be the best way of having fun. And that's when Sakura kind of stands up to him. She's the first person that's ever stood up to him, and that was something that I've always thought, you know, in these films, they're kind of like they don't really have much personality, these creatures, and I think they could be misunderstood as just these like sort of wrecking balls, but actually someone taking the time to sort of say, oh, hold on a minute, that what you were doing isn't right, and then showing them they can still have fun in other ways, I thought was an interesting idea to play around with. Yeah,
you mentioned Godzilla and stuff, and I don't know if any again any children watching know that or heard of it, but if they have, that's got a very the origins of Godzilla kind of Japan, aren't they, in sort of Japanese in that sort of sense. And obviously with this story, you've got Sakura and the artwork and stuff. So you can see the influence there. Was that important to you to get that sort of a Japanese sort of almost kind of anime look and feel to it in that sort of sense?
Yeah, definitely. Because I mean, I sort of moved from those kind of Japanese monster movies to things like Studio Ghibli, where you know, stunning animated films like Spirited Away and Princess Mononoke, and I really love that whole style. So it was definitely important to me to try and stay true to I guess the kind of monster movies origins, essentially. And Beatrice did such an amazing job.
So this is Beatrice Blue, the illustrator, yeah. So Beatrice Blue, you got her name on the cover there.
Yeah, that's right, Beatrice Blue. Yeah, who I've been an admirer of for a lot of years. So you know, when the team at Anderson Press said that she was on board, I was really excited. I just couldn't wait to see those first kind of character sketches. But yeah, I'm so happy with it. Kind of stayed true to that original hope for the story, I guess. Yeah.
Well, speaking of hope, I mean, what do you hope that children will take away from the story? You kind of mentioned it a little bit earlier about Sakura, is that how you say her name? Sakura?
Yeah.
And her sort of facing up to it, and then you sort of discover a little bit more about why this character is behaving like they're behaving. So what do you sort of, and I guess that we can all identify with that in a sense, can we all do things sometimes, and then someone says, why are you doing that? And you sort of explain it, and you go, oh, okay, I've got a bit different understanding of why you're doing that now, but still maybe you shouldn't do it, but this is an alternative. So what is that the kind of message what you're trying to get across in that, as well as it being a lot of fun, of course?
Yeah, I mean, I would say primarily I just want children to have fun sharing this story, you know, and a few sort of story time sessions that I've done, it has been really fun and chaotic, and we've all been making angry noises, you know. And I guess I don't sort of write with a theme first. It kind of comes through in the story, and I hope it's not sort of crowbarred in, but I guess the takeout would essentially be, that it's understanding, sometimes thinking about other people and how you can potentially make amends for things that you might have done wrong. So yeah, I suppose it's like there are subtle themes I want people to take out of it. Ultimately, I want them to have a really good time.
Yeah, well, okay. Well, speaking of good time, let's give us a little taster. So Gareth's going to give us a little taster of Super Mega. Are you going to be able to hold up some of the pictures as well as we go through?
Yeah, I'll try. I'll see if you can do it. I should.
Yeah, do that. So give us a little taste, and we've got a couple of school questions for you after that, Gareth. So I'll hand over to you for that. Here we go.
Okay, so Super Mega Tortoise, written by me, illustrated by the amazing Beatrice Blue, and I'll take you through the first few pages. So it was just another ordinary morning at school until, can you see there is someone looking through the window there? Until Super Mega Tortoise ate the head teacher. Super Mega Tortoise crushed City. Everyone screamed and ran away. Everyone except Sakura. That is totally not cool. Crushing cities, eating school teachers, not cool at all. I am Super Mega Tortoise, king of kaiju. And I am Sakura, top of my maths class. But that doesn't mean I can go around doing whatever I want. But crushing city and eating humans is my best favorite thing. It's how Super Mega family always have fun, even when I was super mega tiny. You can see here Super Mega Tortoise when he was little. He's got his little nappy on. He's throwing cars around, causing carnage. And now, Super Mega Tortoise is living super mega best life ever. At harbour, I throw boats in sky and snap bridge in two. Downtown, I shake skyscraper and eat busy humans. At park, I fry ducks with laser breath. Then I do my angry noise, and then I have nap. You think that sounds like fun? Asked Sakura. Best fun, said Super Mega Tortoise. You try. And so that then we follow Sakura as she tries to show Super Mega Tortoise there are other things you can do for fun which are slightly less violent.
It's really good. You can see that sort of, you know, monster movie kind of ideas in there and the images and stuff. It's a really fun but beautiful book as well. And you said the illustrations are amazing. To sort of bringing that to life. We've got a couple of questions for you, Gareth. Here we go. So, Ormiston Cliff Parker Primary Academy in Gorliston. Thank you for your question. What lessons inspired you when you were at school? Good question.
That's a great question. Do you know what? I always really loved art, even though I'm not an illustrator, but I love just being able to put what was in your head on paper. Art was always a big lesson to me. Nothing to do with this, but obviously I always loved PE. But yeah, I would say art and English, I always really enjoyed exploring stories. I would say my dad was a primary school teacher though, so I feel like at home, I was always surrounded by stories, and I actually enjoyed what he used to bring home from his school and how he was planning his assemblies, the stories he was sharing. So I would say art was probably my favorite lesson at school, but I actually think being around someone who was a school teacher and all of the creativity that came with that, I kind of just soaked it all up. And he always encouraged me to watch movies and play computer games and listen to the lyrics in songs and just fill up the well of goodness so that you can try and be creative yourself.
Yeah, brilliant. And the next question is one you've already sort of answered, but I wondered if there was another one you could add to this. This is from a Worthinghead Primary School in Bradford. Thanks for your question. What was your favourite storybook as a child? Now, you mentioned obviously Asterix the Gaul, and a kind of more sort of graphic novel, but sort of comic book style in that sort of sense. Was there like a novel or a series that you kind of liked that maybe, I mean, it might have had illustrations in it, maybe not, but was there anything particular, maybe when you were slightly older?
Yeah, I would say I remember there being a series called Lone Wolf.
Yeah.
And it was a choose your own adventure novel. Brilliant. And I loved being in control of the adventure. I absolutely loved it. I used to I can't remember how many books in the series. I imagine they're out of print now. But it was always that choose one path and just keep your finger like on the chapter that you were on in case, you know, you get sort of attacked by an elf. You could go back and choose a different.
It happens.
Yeah, it does. Good life lessons. But I always loved that. Yeah, this specific series called Lone Wolf, which you got to choose your own path forwards. I love it.
There's another series that was similar to that, which are still being published, Fighting Fantasy, which are sort of similar kind of thing, that sort of choose your own adventure kind of thing, which are brilliant for kids who love adventure and story and that sort of stuff. They're brilliant. So, Gareth, it's been a pleasure having you on today. Super weird with my screen. Super Mega Tortoise, written by Gareth and illustrated by Beatrice Blue, is out for your tortoise stomping pleasure now. Gareth, it's been a pleasure having you on. Thanks very much. Any final words you'd like to say to the children about tortoises or mega stomping or anything else?
Do you know what I would love them to do is just create their own super mega monster. So whether it's a super mega bunny, a super mega llama, whatever it might be, and give them some special powers. Can they shoot lasers from their ears? I don't know. But I would love them to just get creative and
that is a great challenge. There's your challenge from Gareth Hopkins. Create your own super mega monster. That's brilliant. Gareth, pleasure to have you on. Round of applause. Nice to meet you, Gareth. Gareth Hopkins. Thank you very much, Gareth. Okay, now we are up to my next live guest and another draw on coming your way. And then we've also got, obviously, Laura Ellen Anderson coming at the end as well. Let's welcome back Meg McLaren. Hello, Meg. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Hello.
So have you enjoyed listening to everyone else?
I did. I was just listening to Gareth, and I have a corgi, which is quite a small dog, and I was just imagining super mega corgi.
Well, you do, I know, but it's the thing when you look at it like that, it's really, really good. And it's really, really good fun. Now, Meg was on Mr Dilly Meets. We're trying to figure out, but it's probably, you know, either early last year or the year before. But at that time, she was here to speak about the first in her Watson Whiskerton adventures. But now this is it the second or the third? Is it the second?
This is the third.
This is the third. This is the third. So we moved on since then. The Great Glacier Hotel Heist. So we learned a little bit about, Meg sort of gave us a 15-second intro there. But tell us a little bit about this. They're expecting a holiday in this. Of course, things don't go quite as we expect. So what mystery can you tell us a bit more about what they're pulled into in this particular adventure?
Well, so Watts is the dog, and his parents are very famous detectives. They are world famous. And so they don't normally go on holiday. They normally travel to solve cases. And Watts has met this cat called Pearl. And together they've been solving lots of mysteries together. And Watts has decided that he actually likes solving mysteries and they make a really good team. And so they're on this holiday, but they discover very quickly that Watts's parents aren't actually on holiday at all. They are here on a case. And a jewel thief steals something very important. But Watts's parents are the only people around and they get the blame for the robbery. So Watts and Pearl have to try and prove that his parents didn't steal it. So they're looking for a jewel thief, but there are also some strange things happening at the hotel. There are skis going missing, a president goes missing, there are sightings of a mysterious snow beast in the night. So Watts and Pearl have to try and tie all of these clues together and figure out how all of these things line up to try and prove that his parents are innocent.
You mentioned about the clues there. How do you, when you're writing something like this for this particular audience, this particular age group, how do you make sure that the clues are kind of fun and clear and exciting without also making them too easy at the same time? You know, it must be quite a difficult balance to get right, is it?
It is. I think I have the trouble of I make everything too complicated first, and then I have to try and make it a little simpler. But I think it's just the clues come quite naturally once you know who has done it. You have to pick very early on when you're writing who the guilty person is, and then all of the clues kind of have to point towards them. But you have to make sure that the early clues are quite vague so they can point at lots of different people so that we have a lot of suspects to choose from. And then it's just a case of dotting them throughout the book. And sometimes I have to get to the end of the book and then go back and fix the clues to make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do.
I think that's really interesting. Yeah, because of course, I never really thought of it like that. Obviously, like when you see these sort of mystery things, that there are a lot of potential, a lot of people that could have done it, or a lot of things that could have gone on at the beginning. And then obviously as it goes through, you just sort of, as a viewer or reader, you're you know, knocking that's out, that one, and you're hammering it in as you go through it. So that must be quite difficult to do, I'd imagine. Just one thing, just to add to that, this is a question for you from a school about your illustrations, and then it's also linked to how your own pictures, or you use your own pictures to tell the mystery and to tell those clues, a bit like we sort of did with Sarah earlier on. So this is again from Watts EV Primary School in Rotherham. They're always sending great questions. How important are illustrations to a book? So you can answer that, but as I said, but also within your own books, how important are they to help revealing that mystery of the book? Do you put something else in the illustrations that maybe isn't quite in the text at the same time? So answer this one first. How important do you think illustrations are to a book, and then to your own books in that sense?
I think illustrations are really important in books. I think that especially when you're young, a lot of young readers are very visual readers, so having illustrations really helps support the story, but also I think it can help you understand the story, but it also helps you sometimes remember the story. I have books that I read when I was a child that I don't really remember the story very clearly, but I can remember what the pictures looked like. And I find that when I'm drawing in my sketchbook, if I've been out for the day and I draw somewhere, I have a really strong memory of that day because I made a drawing of it. So I think that illustrations are really linked to memory somehow. And I think in my books, for the Watts and Whiskerton books, there are illustrations on every single page. I think they're really important to kind of keep the action moving, to keep people interested. But what I realized is that as a writer, I don't really like describing things. I don't like describing what people look like and what buildings look like, because I like drawing them. And that's a really easy way to show people exactly what I mean, is to draw it as a picture. And sometimes, yes, there are clues in some of the drawings that if you go back and look later, you might notice something in the drawing that might suggest some help with the mystery.
Brilliant. Okay, are you going to give us a tiny little reading, and then we got a draw along coming from Meg in a minute. So let's hand over to you for that, Meg, for a little reading, and then we'll have a draw along from you. Here we go.
Okay, so Watts is the person who is telling us the story, and he thinks he's on holiday. He's looking for his parents, and the elevator operator has just explained that they are on the 5th floor of the hotel, and the only thing up there is the bedroom of the president. The president? What were Mum and Dad up to? As soon as we stepped into the corridor, I knew. Oh no, they're on a case. Yes, said Pearl. I knew there had to be a mystery around here somewhere. I thought we were on holiday, I said to my parents. We are, said Dad. At least you are. We were hired last minute by the hotel, said Mum. When we saw how excited you were about the trip, we didn't have the heart to tell you it was for work. I had to admit, I'd been feeling a little restless, and now we had a case to solve. This felt like a proper Watts family holiday. How can we help? Mum and Dad explained that they'd been hired after a string of robberies had taken place at nearby ski resorts. We think the thief will strike here next, said Mum. Pearl gasped suddenly. Is it because of the ice crystal? Exactly, said Dad. The jewel thief won't be able to resist. We're guarding the safe while Madam President and her bodyguards ski. Once they're back, we'll resume our search for the thief. But why are you sitting in the corridor? I asked. Because no one can get into this room without going past us. Mum was explaining that they'd be unable to join us for lunch when the elevator dinged and Madam's bodyguard stepped out. Look, you're back early, said Mum. The president will be back soon, growled Locke. You can go. I'll guard the necklace until she returns. Locke and my parents went inside to check the contents of the safe before they changed shifts. They were so cautious, we weren't even allowed in the room. Suddenly, there was a thunderous roar. The ice crystal, said Mum. It's gone. The jewel thief had struck again. And that's the
Leaves it on a cliffhanger. Very, very good there on a cliffhanger. So, the draw along is that from this particular book, or is it just a general?
Yeah, we're going to draw Watts.
Fantastic. Okay, so let's hand over to Megan. Get your pens and pencils ready for our second draw along.
There we go. My draw along is not going to be as detailed as Sarah's beautiful drawing, but we're going to draw Watts. Let's see, go that way. And we're in the middle of our paper. We're going to draw a circle. So we're just going to draw a big round shape like this. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is going to be Watts's face. So right in the middle of our face, that's where our nose is. So imagine right in the middle of your piece of paper, in the middle of the circle, we're just going to draw a tiny little dog's nose. Now your eyes go above your nose, don't they? So Watts has two eyes. We're going to draw them either side of his nose like this. Just big dots for his eyes. Now his mouth is under his nose. So what we're going to do is we're going to go right under the nose and we're going to draw a little smile that goes out to the side. It's not going to be directly under. And then we're going to go back to the middle and we're going to draw another little smile right next to it because he's got little cheeks because he's a little puppy. Now Watts wears a hat like Mr. Dilly. Your hat goes on your head, doesn't it? So we're going to draw a little straight line right across the top of his head. And then we are going to flick it up at either side. These are going to be the brim of his hat popping up. And on top of that, we're going to draw a little hill like this to get his hat. And he's got a little band on his hat that we can just colour in really quickly. Now Watts has a check hat. It's like a little tartan hat. So we are going to draw some very quick little lines down and across just to give his hat a nice little pattern. Now his ears sort of poke out from under his hat. His hat kind of pushes them down. So we are going to draw a little wiggly line like this. And then we are going to join it up at the bottom. So it almost looks like a little leaf that's fallen off a tree. And we're going to do the same on the other side. We're going to draw a wiggly line. And then we are going to join it up like this. Now, if you want to make a character look furry, what I do is I draw very short little fuzzy lines like this all the way around. So we can make his ears look fuzzy around the edges. And then we can colour his ears in really quickly just to show that they're a slightly different colour from the rest of his face. Now, Watts wears a bow tie. A bow tie goes where your shirt collar would meet. So right under his chin, what we're going to do is we're going to draw a really big letter X like this. And what we're going to do is we're going to join this top line to the bottom line. And we're going to do the same on the other side. And if we colour that in, we get a really quick bow tie. And then we can finish his face. We can just draw lots of little fuzzy lines to make his face look fuzzy. And if you want to, you can draw some little fur lines all across the front of his face too. And then the last thing I do, because I'm an illustrator, is I always have to sign my pictures. So I always make sure that I write my name at the bottom of my pictures so everyone knows who drew it. And that's how you draw Watts.
That's really cool. Okay, I gave it a go, a little smaller one. There we go. There's a little one.
Oh, he looks excellent.
That's cool. That's really, I love it. It's so, you know, it's a bit like what Gareth was saying as well, like we're drawing Sarah's. It's I'm sure the children watching, it's incredible just from the shapes, and then it just appears out of the page, which I know is obvious to you as an illustrator and stuff, because that's what you do as part of your living. But it's such a beautiful thing. So thank you for that. So Watts and Whiskerton, the Great Glacier Hotel Heist is out for your adventuring, reading, and joyous pleasure now. Leaves me to say, Meg, any final words you'd like to say to the children watching today about anything at all? Apart from, you can say goodbye if you like.
No, just pick a book that you think you'll like. Try something new. Don't be afraid to try something new, and just enjoy reading. Reading should be fun. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Meg. Nice to see you again. Thank you very much. So Meg McLaren there. Brilliant. I hope you enjoyed that. Now, we have one final guest. We're probably going to be finishing about 12:05 if you can stay with us. We have the pre-record with Laura Ellen Anderson talking about her book and of another draw along as well. So I'm going to hand over to myself to do that. Here we go. Okay, my final guest today is the best-selling author and illustrator of some truly wonderful and magical book series. Amelia Fang, that's her series. We've got Marnie Midnight, the most recent one, that's her series. But she's now back with, guess what? A brand new series called Star Kitties, full of adventure, as I say, and friendship and mystery, and lots of cats. So let's find all about it as we welcome Laura Ellen Anderson. There we go. She's in. I was just telling Laura before the show, but my cat just had a complete run around kind of, I don't know what they call them. What do they call the cat kind of meltdowns?
I don't have to think of meow down. Enough with I've gone too far with the puns.
They've gone too far already. I can see many cat puns coming. It's very, very good. Excellent. But we are here today to jump into the. Oh, wait there. Do you mind get a cat pun in there? It's if you can whisk us away. Whisk us. Is that bad? That's pretty bad, isn't it?
The worse, the better. I have to say.
Whisk us away to the land of whiskery paw as we go into Star Kitties. Your latest. So, first of all, Star Kitties, obviously from the title, and as we've already mentioned, obviously contains kitties, contains cats. So first of all, before we talk about the world of Whiskery Paw and look at the characters, why cats? Why cats?
I love cats so much, and I've always got a cat character somewhere in all of my books, any opportunity. But I think I've always just sat and doodled little cat characters whenever I've either been bored. I once drew 27 cats on my friend's cast that he had on his arm when we were once on a coach, and I was absolutely busting for a wee. So to take my mind off of it, it was like, draw on my arm, and I was like, 27 cats. I used to draw what we called random cats with all my friends. They've always kind of known me as the one who draws the random cats. And then I did, I once took part in the kind of Inktober activity where you draw a little ink drawing every day. And I drew these little ghost cats with stars on their bellies. And so I don't actually have a cat. I've always had cats in the family, but
No, I have to say, I think the kids listening will also agree, is that we'd love to be in your mind.
I don't know about that.
Okay, I don't know. It's a nice place to be. Okay, out of Laura's mind came Star Kids. Okay, so let's tell us all about this. So here we have. I said this before on other Mr Dilly meets. I love a book. Always loved a book since I was a child that starts with a map. I love a map, and I think I've said this to Laura before. I certainly said to other guests who have maps that start their books. And Star Kitties is also a fantastic book that starts with a map. So let's have a look at the map. Tell us a bit about the land. Here we go.
Yes, so this is Whiskery Paw, and I always imagined Whiskery Paw to be this planet with 4 moons. So when you look at it in the sky, it looks like a cat paw, and it's called the 4 Moggy Moons. And it just gives me a way of kind of delving into the world. And even if we don't visit one of these places on the map in one of the books, we'll visit it in another book. But I could see so vividly, I knew there was going to be an area where there were lots of boxes, because a cat loves a box. You can buy a cat the cutest, most, I don't know, expensive toy, but they will love the box more, most probably.
They do love a box. I can vouch.
Yeah, so I imagined having this whole borough of boxes, so big and small, and then a bit like the Hollywood stars, you've got the path of precious paw prints. So you have, you know, the names of famous kitties, like, I don't know, Dolly Parton. Not good. It's not good.
It's very, very good. It's very good.
And obviously Tabby Town, it's got the water fountain in the middle, and little things that happen in every story. For example, the post-kitty Henrietta Stamps, she will always end up falling into the fountain when she bumps into a lamppost on her little bicycle. And obviously Paw Palace, where Queen Moggerline lives. When I was coming up with the names of the forest, and I was like, Mew Forest. So it was a chance to get in some really good puns, but also kind of give everyone a taste of the world they're about to jump into. I had so much fun with that map. It was really therapeutic to sit and draw all the little details.
But also, it's lovely, isn't it? Because as a reader of it, obviously you draw it, and you sort of know for this book and maybe future books where certain adventures are going to take place within that. As a reader, when you look at a map, obviously, as soon as you open it, before you've even read the story, your imagination sort of goes, oh, I'd like to go there or that, you know. So it's lovely for readers as well, because they can immediately jump into the world and see the world, or part of the world maybe, that you've created, and where it's going to happen with
the direction of the journey with the characters. So
yeah,
it really helped me to kind of see where she was going and when and how she would get there, whether she needed to get the Star Kitty Express train, or, you know, whether it's walkable distance. All of, very cool.
Okay, so the Star Kitties, obviously inhabit this this land, the Whiskery Paw, and we have a picture of some of them just here. So maybe you want to sort of introduce some of them. Here we go. So
okay, so we've got the lovely kitty you see on the tree branch is Flora Wild, and she's the forest kitty. So all of the kitties kind of have hobbies and jobs, so to speak. So every cat has their own personality. We've got good old, you can see Henrietta Stamps jumping joyfully with her envelope. She's so happy, has a big round cute head. And then I would love to get this little vampire kitty in one day. Queen Moggerline is on top of the hill, and floating on the umbrella is Whatever the Weather Kitty. We've got Felicity Page, Reading Kitty, who's sitting on the pile of books just above Mimi Crumbles, who is Cupcake Kitty. She owns the Paw Print Bakery and does the best starberry cupcakes. We've got Von Splat, of course, who is the lovely artist kitty with a big curly moustache. We've got Inventor Kitty, Professor Dib Dabs. You're best to avoid him, because he's always doing weird and wonderful experiments with socks. No one really knows why. We will find out where all of these socks come from. We've got Sporty Kitty Swifty McGee with his dumbbell in the background. Music Kitty Harmony Bell. You see a bit more of her in book 2. And we've got Party Kitty kind of peeping around the corner with the balloon there. And of course, Fashion Kitty, Claudelius Lefroc. Can't forget the very posh fashion kitty. He knows
These
what he's
names
doing.
are great. They're amazing names. You must have fun coming up with the names.
My gosh,
they're awesome. Let's have a look at the kind of the main character, because obviously we have the Star Kitties, which Laura's spoken about. We've looked at the world, but there is a human who kind of goes into this world. So we're gonna have a look at a picture of her, and then Laura can tell us a little bit about who she is, and maybe, without giving too much away, a little bit about the story of Star Kitties as well. So let's have a quick look at who this girl is. Here we go.
This is Tabitha Flair, and Tabitha. So I was inspired by my granddad's shed as a little girl. We used to go to my nana granddad's every Saturday, and there was something mysterious about his shed. He was always making things, and it was this ramshackle little kind of wooden shed in the garden and they lived at number 25. So hence why Tabitha lives at number 25 Whiskery Way. And at the end of the garden is this little shed. And she loves playing in the garden, exploring, again, something I just loved to do as a kid. And the idea of finding something magical like a key I think is every kid's dream. And also I loved books like The Secret Garden and The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. So kind of smushing all of these wonderful ideas together. And Tabitha is basically that little curious kid that lives inside of us all. I still would love to find a magical shed well, there is a magical shed that opens up to Whiskery Paw. But yes, she is playing in the garden. She finds a magical key, and it unlocks the shed, which has so far been locked. She and her mum couldn't get into the shed until they found this magical key. But she can only open the shed door with this magical key on a Friday. And it's this idea that Friday is a great day of the week. Everyone's excited for the weekend. So it's something really exciting. And so Tabitha is so excited every Friday because after school, she knows she's going to go to Whiskery Paw and see all of her Star Kitty friends. And this particular Friday in book 1, it's her birthday. And she is super excited because the Star Kitties always do something really fun for her birthday. But this time when she gets to Whiskery Paw, they're in a bit of a frenzy. Because Queen Moggerline has gone missing. So Tabitha, being her lovely, wonderful self, kind of puts all thoughts of her birthday behind. She's like, okay, my friends come first, and she tries to help them find their missing queen.
And that's all we can say, really, because that's the mystery. So it's kind of like it's a wonderful sort of jump inside this magical world, and we follow sort of Tabitha through it. But also there is a mystery to solve. Hence the title. What's the actual Star Kitty? But what's the actual sort of title underneath?
So the title is Detective Kitty is on the Case, and this is our Detective Kitty, Sherlock Holmes, right here. Yep. Yeah.
It's great. Okay, now we're going to do a draw along. So what do we need? We just need a bit of paper and a pencil.
Piece of paper and a pencil. And if you've got a blue colouring pencil, fabulous. I'm going to be using it for mine. Don't worry, if you haven't though, you can add the blue after. But I'm going to be using both of these.
Brilliant. Okay. I'm gonna attempt to draw along as well, Laura. Okay, so I'll give it a best shot. Okay, here we go. There's draw along from Laura.
Change to my camera. Okay, here we go. So we're going to draw a lovely Sherlock Holmes. So I'm going to just take you step by step, drawing the main shapes first. So it's kind of, his head is like a big kind of, almost like an eye shape. So just draw kind of an eye shaping. You draw the pencil lines lightly, and then you can go back over the main lines. Mine's already really wobbly, so don't worry if yours is too. For the main body, just draw a little kind of oval shape there. And then for his arms, we're going to have just 4 little sausages. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can already see he's starting to take shape. We need to add his pointy ears at the top. 1, 2. And now we can start to add some detail. So let's first off start with our kind of furry outline. So let's just add some kind of spiky bits around the edges. This is his furry face. And you can always erase the lighter pencil lines afterwards. We're going to do a little tuft of hair on top of the head. And then just fill in the ears like so. So you've got a little small white triangle in the center of the ears. And then we could add 2 eyes. So he's got big eyes that sit right in the center of the face. And then a little triangular nose in between the eyes. And then he's got a cute little kind of W-shaped mouth. And we can just add another little triangle underneath to make it look like he's kind of going, yay, or onwards is his not his nickname, it's his kind of catchphrase. Okay, so he's got a big moustache. So what we're going to do is go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then again on the other side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's his big moustache, and he's also got these big furry eyebrows. So we can just add kind of like furry caterpillars above the eyes. There we go. Okay, Now we're going to add his little deer stalker hat. Every detective needs one. So going to add kind of a curve shape there, and then 2 little curves either side for the little flaps. Just add an extra little line there to give the sense of 3D. And then I guess little ribbon bits. I'm not entirely sure what the actual name for these are, but there's always like a little bow on top. Okay. We're going to add a few little freckles, little dots, because cats have all different textures on their fur, don't they? So it's lots of fun. You can make them all look very different by adding lots of different patterns. Add a few little floofy, furry bits. That's the technical term, floofy, furry bits. And then we are going to draw his little kind of cape. So 2 kind of rectangles there for the collar. And then a little tie up bit there. And then let's just draw the rest of the cape behind his paws. So he's got all of his paws in front. And then we can just add the outline of one of his arms. Just do a little black blob at the end for one of his paws. And the same on the other side. Little black blob there. And the body, just add a few furry outlines all the way down to the little black feet. This has got 4 little black paws. A few little floofy bits again. And now we're going to use the blue pencil to add some glasses. So we'll do some blue glasses. So 2 circles around the eyes using the blue pencil. And then just connect them in the middle, like so. And then you can also add some kind of cross-hatching to the cape to give him that kind of checkered look, like so. And again, you can add any pattern you like, really. You can have fun with your Purlock Holmes. Colour in the tie, and then just add a few more check patterns at the top. There we go. You can spend a lot more time on yours. And we can add a magnifying glass in one hand, paw, sorry. And then the most important bit of all is the star on his tummy. Every star kitty has a star on their tummy, and depending on how they're feeling, it might be glowing really brightly. If they're feeling happy, if they're feeling a bit sad, maybe it's a little bit dim. If they're kind of a bit surprised and shocked, maybe it's flashing. And then if you want to add a little bit of shading to the moustache, you can. And then a little bit of shading below. And that's a really quick way of how to draw Purlock Holmes. I hope that you enjoyed that. Did you draw your version, Mr. Dilly?
I did draw it. Do you want to have a look?
I would love to have a look.
Okay, I stupidly started in a thick marker pen, and then I realised I needed.
Nothing wrong with that.
So I did too. So there we go. There's my little.
Oh, look at him! You've got it spot on.
There you go. Little Purlock Holmes.
Purlock Holmes.
Isn't that cool? So listen, Laura, as ever, it's lovely to have you on the show. All the best with Star Kitties. Obviously, this is the start of endless Star Kitties taking over the whole of the world, not just Whiskery Paw, but everywhere. Fantastic, lovely to have you on as always.
Thank you.
Any last thing you'd like to say? You could, if you want to, you could bung a weird cat pun in there as well. If you last thing,
oh,
you probably won't be able to think of one now.
Well, I could. I said a really horrible one the other day, and I actually was. It was disgraceful, so I might say it now. But I'm going to say thank you for embarking or meowing on this whiskery adventure with me. And now I will walk out of the room and think about what I've done.
Yeah, that's good, Laura. Lovely to have you on. Round of applause, Laura Ellen Anderson. Thanks. Okay, everybody, there we go. That pre-recorder Laura Ella Anderson there. Hope you enjoyed that. Now, it's been brilliant to have you with you. I went on a bit longer than we thought today, but I hope you've enjoyed all the draw-alongs, learning about all the books and stories, and give you plenty of ideas as well. Thank you to Jennifer. Thank you to Gara. Thank you to Meg. And thank you to Laura and Sarah, of course. So we've had Pirate Clues, we've had Snowy Mysteries, Magical Kittens, and one very large tortoise, and one man in a bowler hat. That'll be me. Mr. Dilly saying goodbye to you. Thank you for watching. My name is Mr. Dilly, and it's goodbye from me, and it's goodbye from me. Until next time, goodbye.